in Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachaline Nivasisha Shunyavari Pashtatara Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar excuse me Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so continuing to read the final part of Brhat Bhagavatamrita. We're on the last chapter of the final part of that wonderful Brhat Bhagavatamrita. And here it is, coming to you right now. 1, 2, 3. There it is, Hare Krishna, shared on the screen. Okay, Hare Krishna. So just before I begin, we haven't had a reading for a couple of weeks, I think. Various reasons. But just for your information, just so we can keep kind of track of what's going on with these different personalities, different names. Here we have, you see highlighted, is where we will begin today. Jana Sharma. So who is Jana Sharma? Now, Jana Sharma is the Mathura Brahmana whom is listening, hearing from Gopakumar. Okay. Now, Gopakumar's Siddha name is Sarupa. So Gopakumar is the main character of the Brhat Bhagavatamrita, and he achieves perfection, and he's thereafter known as Sarupa. Okay. Now, the Mathura Brahmana, who was chanting the same mantra as Gopakumar stroke Sarupa, his Siddha form is Jana Sharma. You follow? Okay, so give us some idea of who's speaking, etc. Okay. So we're on here, this highlighted part here, this is where we left off. We got to text 42, last reading. So let's just pick it up here, and I guess we'll pick up the context as we read. So normally we get some readers out there. You know, I like to kick the game off, as they say. Kick the reading off.
Yeah, I can read.
Go ahead, Mary. Yes.
Sorry, where are we starting again?
43. You could
43.
yeah, no need to read the Sanskrit for this Brhat Bhagavatam.
Yeah, okay. In this way, Krishna bestowed on Janasarma a supreme mercy that only he could give, and Janasarma felt completely fulfilled. Commentary. By converting the dry Brahmana Janasarma into a young coward fit to join the assembly of intimate cowherd friends, Krishna proved that in giving mercy he is unsurpassed. And Janasarma, having attained a form like his own gurus, was fully satisfied. Like all pure devotees, he aspired only to advance in devotional service to the Lord. As Krishna himself told Uddhava, one who has fixed his consciousness on me does not desire the position or abode of Lord Brahma or Lord Indra, nor an empire on earth, nor sovereignty in the lower planetary systems, nor the eightfold perfection of yoga, nor liberation from birth and death. Such a person desires me alone. Because my devotees are possessed of saintly behavior and deep intelligence, they completely dedicate themselves to me and desire nothing besides me, even if I offer them liberation from birth and death. Bhagavatam 11:20-34. Lord Kapila similarly tells his mother, even if I offer my devotees any kind of liberation, Salokya, Sarsti, Samipya, Sarupya, or Ekatva, they do not accept it if it means giving up my service. In the liberated state, 5 kinds of perfection are available. Residence in the same planet as the Supreme Lord, Salokya, opulence equal to his, Sarsti, access to his personal presence, Samipya, a form similar in appearance to his, Sarupya, and oneness with him, ekatva. But absent devotional service, the Lord's pure devotees refuse these perfections, even when offered by the Lord himself. Certainly when pure devotees harbour no hidden desires to achieve such rewards. Lord Kapila also says, pure devotees attached to the activities of devotional service and always engaging in the service of my lotus feet never desired to become one with me. Such devotees unflinchingly engage in my service and always join together to glorify my pastimes and activities. As Lord Narayana tells Durvasa Muni, my devotees, always satisfied to be engaged in my loving service, are not interested even in the four principles of liberation, Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, and Sarsti, though these are automatically achieved by their service. What then is to be said of such perishable happiness as elevation to the higher planetary systems? The wives of the serpent Kaliya pray, those who have attained the dust of your lotus feet never hanker for the kingship of heaven, nor limitless sovereignty, nor the position of Brahma, nor rulership over the earth. They are not interested even in the perfections of yoga or in liberation itself. And the queens of Krishna confide to Sri Draupadi, O saintly lady, we do not desire dominion over the earth, nor the sovereignty of the King of heaven, nor unlimited means for enjoyment, nor do we desire mystic power, or the position of Lord Brahma, or immortality, or even attainment of the kingdom of God. We simply desire to carry on our heads the glorious dust of Lord Krishna's feet, dust enriched by the fragrance of kumkum from his consort's bosom. The words Samrajyam and Svarajyam mean, respectively, rulership over the earth and rulership over heaven. Bhojyam refers to the means for enjoyment that both kinds of sovereignty make available, and Vairajyam refers to the powers, siddhis of mystic yogis. The Bharicha Brahmana gives alternate meanings to these words, referring to them in the same order to describe lordship over each of the four cardinal directions, beginning with the east. Krishna's queens have no interest in such lordship, nor have they any interest in the opulences called Paramestriam, the position of Brahma, Anantyam, liberation, or residence in Vaikuntha, the abode of Sri Hari. They want only the dust of Krishna's feet. Why? Because it is mixed with the aroma of Goddess Lakshmi's kumkum. This is another way of saying that Mahalakshmi aspires to serve Krishna, even though Brahma and all the demigods serve her. Mahalakshmi is also one of Krishna's wives, and the dust from his feet mixes with her kumkum. Therefore, the queens of Dwarka are eager to have that dust. The queens will accept dust only from the feet of the darling son of Devaki, not from the feet of any other form of God, because only in Sri Devaki Nandana can they find an unlimited ocean of sweetness. The supreme goddess of fortune, who associates with that original form of Godhead, is Srimati Rukmini, his first queen. As the queens reveal in the next verse they speak, the women of Vraj also hanker to obtain that same dust. We desire the same contact with the Supreme Lord's feet that the young women of Vraj desire, and the cowherd boys, and even the Aborigine Pulinda women. The touch of the dust he leaves on the plants and grass as he tends his cows. That the gopis of Vraj aspire for the dust of Krishna's feet proves beyond any doubt that his feet are the repository of ultimate sweetness. As difficult as it is to obtain that dust, it is easy for devotees like Vrajvasis who are fully dedicated to Krishna. The queens want the mercy of Krishna with his supreme consort, not his alone. Krishna may sometimes remain satisfied within himself, but pure Vaishnavas, like the queens of Dwarka, are not interested in that aspect of his personality. They want to serve him in the company of his pleasure potency. They want to know him as the topmost enjoyer of intimate loving exchanges. Gopakumar had a similar attitude. He always wanted to find Sri Madan Gopal in his original form. Gopakumar had opportunities to see and associate with the Supreme Lord in many different places, but he became satisfied only when he finally met Krishna in Vrajbhumi. To achieve ultimate perfection, devotees should first gain the darshan, the divine vision of Sri Krishna. Krishna's darshan arises from the playful impulses of devotional service, stimulates extreme happiness in Krishna's fortunate devotees. It is the prime means for achieving him completely.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure we're familiar with this point before. This comes up in the nectar of devotion. And as we know, this is one of the symptoms of pure devotion, that even one doesn't even desire, like this one. Generally, devotees ask questions about this. I'm just highlighting here. Residents on the same planet, Salokya. But they may accept it because of the opportunity to serve Krishna. Then they may accept that. Yeah? And generally, they will go back to Godhead. They will go back to the planet of Krishna. But they're not serving Krishna to go back to the planet of Krishna. They're serving Krishna because they love Krishna. See the difference? It's not as if they're motivated for something for the self. That's why these are often quoted in regards to highlighting the devotee's freedom from any selfish desire. Yeah. So they will not desire to go to Goloka for themselves. Yes, it's a bit fine. It's a fine point. It's a fine point. They're just happy serving Krishna. And of course, going to the spiritual world gives them an opportunity to express their love for Krishna. Otherwise, devotees are happy to stay in the material world, which is sometimes difficult to relate to. I mean, I was just coming back from the temple, walking down Oxford Street and Tottenham Court Road, and I was thinking, I want to get out of this place. I want liberation from this stinking, from this
Yeah,
horrible material world. Sorry, Mother Bunga.
yeah. Walking through London will definitely make you feel like I cannot stay here. I mean, if Krishna basically asked you, you probably would, but I mean, I was just thinking also that actually it's quite useful to have a goal. For myself, I like to have the goals in mind
Yeah, great.
because it keeps you motivated. If I just say, oh, I'm just going to serve and it's all going to work out, I'm a bit afraid of taking that position because without the goals in mind,
Yeah,
I may lose motivation or
that's good. That's the conclusion of our study of the Sankara Kumudi. You're
uh,
in different goals. That means you're aware of the progress that you want to make, and it's very specific. So, how does that relate to the point we're bringing up about being free
because
of?
we were saying they just want to serve.
Okay,
And I'm thinking if I just take that position that I just want to serve without having a, a, another aspiration, I do want to serve the best that I can, but without knowing, like, without saying, like, oh, I would like to get Krishna Prem, I would like to go get out of this miserable place. I would like, Krishna is,
I understand. Yeah,
Krishna's pastimes are going on, in Goloka Vrindavan, and, it's pretty miserable here. Uh,
pretty much.
yeah, no, but I just like to have a goal rather than just say, I don't want liberation or anything like that, but just service. I mean, maybe I'm just not, you know, because I'm not doing much service because of my health, maybe I'm not doing any like temple service. So maybe that's why I'm more attached to the goals at the moment. I don't know.
No, you're raising anyone that'd like to make some comments on that before I make some comment? A very interesting point that Mother Lavanga's bringing out.
I heard, like I've heard that just because we're miserable, that shouldn't be the thought of getting out. I don't know, something like that, in that kind of way.
Yeah, but first, perhaps let's just home in on Mother Lavanga's point. She's making a very important point. When we're what's being described here is obviously the consciousness of a prema bhakti. Yeah, it's on the level of prema. But for ourselves, as Mother Lavanga is, I think, nicely explaining, that we might not be on that level. So it might be for us to go forward in devotional service, it's good to come to terms with where we are. You know, we can desire getting out. And that's why also Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't just describe the spiritual world. It describes in graphic detail the material world. You know, we have the third canto, uh, um, the adverse activities, you know, of the fruits of adverse activities and description of the hellish planets, etc., etc. And also in the Ishopanishad, it describes that there's two aspects of knowledge. There's the cultivation of the knowledge of the positive, and there's also being in knowledge of the negative, so that we can go away from it. So being in knowledge of darkness, so we can desire light, you know. So it's good for us in the beginning stages to perhaps it might be a bit artificial.
Krishna.
I don't mind, I don't mind taking birth in this again and again in the material world. It's nice. It's a nice aspiration. Can someone just go on mute there? I think.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Can you just 1 second, Idai Mata?
Okay.
Just finish his thought. So what was I saying? So I lost my train of thought then. It's good to put, because we will hear about the consciousness of the prema bhaktis, those at level of prema. So it's good to put that on the stove within our heart, so to speak, and just let it sit there and know that's the direction that ultimately we would like to go in. But for now, my Lord, I'm suffering in this place. And please may I be elevated so I can always have the association of your great devotees. Now that may be one particular one particular aspiration. But it may be it would then we maybe, as we hear, Maharaj Chitraketu, he was cursed by Parvati, and he was cursed to take body as the birth as a demon. And he doesn't become upset, he doesn't become sorry, he just folds his hands and says, "Thank you, Mother." And the verse that glorifies him says, wherever devotee is in hell, wherever he's in heaven, he's happy because he or she is rendering devotional service to the Lord. Now that would be good. And that's the type of consciousness that we aspire. Because otherwise, if we don't realize, if we don't, on the other side, if we don't understand the real nature of this material world, that is temporary and it's full of suffering, then we might not desire, we might start getting quite comfortable here. So
That's what I was thinking. Like some people say, "Oh, I don't mind staying here and serving," but actually, if they're not really on a high level, it could be just because of their material attachments that they say that.
yeah. But that might be hidden down there in the subconsciousness as well. So it's coming out. So you hear about pure devotion. Yeah. I don't mind staying here birth after birth, but really you're just expressing some deep down desires because of attachment to this world of matter. But at the same time, that's why Krishna consciousness is such a phenomenal, I could say, very deep philosophy, Because at the same time, if we are Krishna conscious, then sometimes the material world doesn't look so bad. That's the other side as well. For a devotee. So generally, I think devotees go through different emotions in relationship to the material world at different times in their spiritual life, you know. Because Prahlad Maharaj prays that I do not mind the material world as long as I am absorbed in thoughts of your pastimes. Then for me, I don't see any danger. But anyone else, any comments on this? Nitai Mata, you was saying something, or you're muted if you are saying something now.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Yeah, no, I think you did mention what I want to say. I
Yeah,
was thinking it's good to know that your miserable situation. So it's like when you know something, it is not good, then you think you should get out of it.
yeah. This is also Bhagavad Gita. We're going to read that soon. Chapter 13, the items of knowledge. Jana Mitru Dhyavyadi Dokodoshana Darshanam. One of knowledge is to be aware of the evil,
Yeah.
birth, death, old age, and disease. That's actually an item of knowledge. You know, Janma Mitru Dhyavyadi Dokodoshana Darshanam. Yeah, it's part of knowledge. So interesting to take note of when we're reading about pure devotion. This is what we're reading about here. Pure devotion. But that point, just keep that point in mind as a takeaway as well. That devotees, they don't desire this exactly. They're not desiring to go to the spiritual world. They are desiring to love Krishna, and the spiritual world happens to be a great place to do that. It happens to be a very, very favorable place to render service to Krishna. It happens to be a place where there's all devotees who are spontaneously attracted to serving Krishna. So a devotee will more than likely, unless they have a mission for the Lord, will happily take up the Lord's hand when his hand when he guides them, brings them back to the spiritual world, because that will facilitate but their service. But it's not for themselves, it's to serve Krishna. That's why they can happily serve Krishna in an unlimited variety of wonderful ways with so many facilities to serve Krishna. Yeah. Going on a bit here.
Yeah, I was yesterday reading about Prahlad Maharaj as well, and to get to that level, then it's okay being anywhere where you are, because nothing will bother you. You know, at the present way we are, we see like this is dirty, this is this, he said this, she said this, everything. But to have a mind that is completely conscious of Krishna and see everything relating to Krishna,
Yeah.
then it would be so nice. Then it wouldn't matter where you are, because that the consciousness is completely different. You won't even, like we were reading, yesterday, was it yesterday? We were saying a drunken man and things like that.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
There's no idea where he is.
Yes. We are so deeply in love with Krishna that you'll see him everywhere, and it doesn't matter where you are then, because you're too absorbed in Krishna.
Sounds very attractive.
Yeah. I was yesterday I was reading, it's okay for Prahlad Maharaj to feel like this. We're not, there. So we feel the material world and the pains and aches, this and that and whatever. But to get to the goal to have that love, to see Krishna in everything, that prema, that would be so nice. That would be really,
Yeah, so we feel the pinches of material, and that's why there is miseries in the material world, is to get us to question our existential position here. That's his purpose. The soul cannot be comfortable here and the Adi Bautic and Adi Devic and Adi Atmic miseries are supposed to drive us to Atato Brahma Jignasa, are supposed to wake us up, are supposed to get us to question, a Gyani. You're supposed to become a Gyani, and then ultimately a Bhakta, question your existential position, Yeah, so that's why, you could, I think in Gopal here, we're reading Brhat Bhagavatamarta, there were some places where Gopal Kumar was, but it would suit him better being somewhere else to help him to develop the mood of separation from Krishna. Like he was in Puri, Purushottam Kshetra, because there was there was a great festivity mood, so many festivals and etc. that it was really a utsa, really a great celebrative mood. So he was advised to go to Vraj for it was more a place where he could develop feelings of separation, contemplative mood. Yeah. Yeah. Any other comments on this? Otherwise, we can read a bit more, but some good points here. So this purple, quite lengthy, speaking verses substantiating this point. Yeah. That Jana Shram felt completely fulfilled. Jana Shama. So Jana Shama again is the Siddha form of the Mathura Brahmana. And anyone notice that? It said, interesting, I haven't heard this before. Let me see if I can find it before. Does anyone know the particular type of Brahmana? Here, Paharitya Brahmana. Anyone know what a Paharitya Brahmana is? The Paharitya Brahmana gives alternate meanings to these words. Anyway, perhaps if someone's got ChatGPT, they can perhaps type it in to see what comes out. Bahvrca Brahmana. Might be another word for Jana Shama, the Mathura Brahmana. Out of interest. All right, let's read on, see what else comes up here. Anyone like to take it from text 44?
I just looked it up.
Yeah, go on.
And it says reverentially Brahmana refers to a specific type of Brahmana, a section of the Vedic literature in Vedic Hinduism. It is associated with the Rig Veda and is also known as it's also the name of some sections of the Vedas.
There you go. So a particular type of Brahmana who may study the Rig Veda, huh?
Something like that, yeah.
Right, there you go.
Yes, this particular Brahmana is associated with the Rig Veda.
Rig Veda, yeah. So different Vedas, different Brahmanas, they're expert in that particular Veda. And they're known, yeah. And they will dress in a certain way. Okay, thank you. All right, someone like to take up from text 44?
I can read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Text, sorry, did you say 44?
44.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Krishna, with a signal from his flute and a special sound from his mouth, called the cows, and made them drink water. Commentary. Immediately after giving the Brahmanas mercy, Krishna turned his attention to watering his cows, buffaloes, and other animals. And just by that same peculiar sound, he made the animals stop and lie down in comfortable places. Then with the two devotees and his elder brother and his other friends, he played in the water. Now and then Krishna would come near his friends who were splashing one another and drench them with waves, and sometimes the boys would come up to him, the most expert in all sports, and subject him to a torrent of waves. In all this the Lord took delight. Commentary. When his devotees would sneak upon him from behind and splash water on him, the Supreme Lord would would take no offense. Rather, he would very much appreciate being treated to this indignity, indignity,
yeah.
as Vinoda, Kovida, the most expert knower of sports. He values the attacks of his friends more than the worship offered him by others. Text 47, using Sri Yamuna's flowing water as an instrument, he and his friends played all kinds of auspicious music, and he sported by crossing the river in various ways, both with the current and current against it. Sometimes Krishna playfully hid his body in the Yamuna's water and his face in a cluster of lotuses so that no one could find him. Commentary. The river Yamuna is called Krishna because of the hue of her water closely resembles Krishna's complexion. And when Krishna hid himself that closely resembled his face, it would be difficult for anyone to search him out.
Yeah, I think sometimes what's happening is that you're getting paused and then it's going fast.
Yeah. Oh, I don't
Anyway.
know why that's happening. Yeah.
We
Okay.
can hear you. We can hear the recitation, so that's fine. But devotees, sometimes it's going fast because that's the feed of the computer. It's like
When his friends, who had no purpose in life but to see him, looked for him but failed, they wept in terrible distress, their minds bewildered, and called out to him in ardent voices. Just then, wily Krishna emerged laughing from the cluster of lotuses. The boys, their wide-opened eyes flooded with joy, rushed forward and jumped into the water to be with him, and in this way he sported.
yeah, just if you hadn't picked this up, that because Krishna's face is just like a lotus, so it's indistinguishable when he's indistinguishable when he hides amongst the lotus flowers. Yeah.
Is it the color? It's the color of the lotus that makes it
It is both. It's the color, maybe the color, but also Krishna's
beauty?
lotus-like face. And the lotus, Prabhupada says about the lotus that it can free you from mental anxiety just by looking at it. Yeah. And Krishna's body, as we know, is different parts of his body is compared to a lotus. Yeah.
Lovely.
And also notice also how Krishna's, while he's hidden amongst the lotuses, then his devotees go into great feelings of being separated from Krishna. So that's a particular, I forget the term of it, but it's a particular type of prema where one cannot, one becomes very distraught, even if they don't see Krishna for a second. And that we have the example of the gopis when they complain to Lord Brahma that their eyes are blinking. It's a particular type of prema, which I forget the name now. Yeah. But go on, you can continue reading. Can you still see the text?
Yeah, just my glasses are not great, but yeah, just about.
All right.
Yes.
So I can't see it on my computer.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
now I can.
okay, so he decorated. Sorry, he decorated. Okay, he decorated his friends with charming garlands made from various water flowers, strung together with fibers of lotus stems. Then he and his friends came out of the water, and in the same way they decorated him. To have lunch there on the broad, attractive bank of the Yamuna, Krishna seated his elder brother in the middle of the cowherd boys, who sat down around them in concentric circles. Next page. Commentary. Earlier, the boys had all had breakfast, but now it was time for lunch. We can understand from descriptions in the 10th canto that they ate breakfast sometimes in the forest and sometimes at home.
Yeah, now I'll change. Okay. Yeah.
After Krishna and Balram finished their breakfast in the morning, sorry, there's a little panel
That's me. Sorry.
Sorry. I've gone back to the Zoom workplace. Back to meeting. Sorry about that. Something happened there. Okay. After Krishna and Balram finished their breakfast in the morning, they went to take care of the calves and wandered here and there. Krishna and Balram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who maintains the entire creation, now took charge of the calves as if the of the calves, as if cowherd boys. O king, one day Krishna decided to take his breakfast as a picnic in the forest. Having risen early in the morning, he blew his bugle made of horn and woke up all the cowherd boys and calves with his beautiful sound. Then Krishna and the boys, keeping their respective groups of cows before them, proceeded from Rajbhumi to the forest. Krishna enjoyed serving the boys the wonderful delicacies they had brought from their homes, and he served. He moved back and forth in front of the boys with a playful dancing gait. The boys also had delicious fruits, flowers, and grains, all provided fresh in every season by the many kinds of divine trees in the Vrindavan forest. Krishna enjoyed serving to all the boys the fruits that pleased each of them most. Commentary. The boys ate not only what their mothers had packed for them, but also what they had collected from the forest.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just having trouble with my screen here. I just got to do something. 1 second. I just got to stop the share and bring it back up again. 1 second. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, you can see?
I can see.
You can see it again?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to.
Okay, perhaps you'd like to just read another couple of verses, then if anyone else would like to pick up the reading, you're welcome. So just read 2 more verses, Mum.
Okay, sorry, where are we? Oh, my phone is really playing up today. I'm so sorry.
I think we're here, text 53.
53, yes, okay. Krishna, I think I read that. Krishna
Okay,
enjoyed serving the
54.
boys. Yes, I've read that. I think we're
Okay,
on
go
text
for 55, 56.
right, okay. He served rasalas, palm fruits, and bilva fruits, and badaras and amalakas and coconut, jackfruit, grapes, and bananas. He served oranges, pilus, kariras, and other ripe, tasty fruits like dates and pomegranates. Commentary. Only in the Vrindavan forest can one find all these fruits ripe at the same time, and only there can one find blooming stimulously the flowers described in text 63 through to 66. Words from another source portray the beauty of Vrindavan by saying, Shravimim ivat rutu saswat puna puna phala salinam. There the trees repeatedly bring forth all sorts of fruits in every season.
Okay, then you can just read text 57.
Yes.
Oh,
The
yeah.
infallible Lord Krishna stood in front of each boy, one after another, and took a morsel from each plate and consumed it, and fed the boys as well. In this way, he pleased all of them. Commentary. Krishna stood in front of each boy and ate from the boy's plate. But though he did this with one boy after another, every boy thought that Krishna was with him only alone.
Okay, just before someone else might read. So if any of you have on the stage of Vadanadas and you've accepted as your goal to be in the mood of Sakyaras, that's how you would like to associate and serve Krishna, this is a good meditation for you. Okay, that's your aspired for goal, Sakyaras.
Lots of fruits.
Yeah, but this mood, this jovial
Yes.
mood,
Happy.
associated with Krishna in a very, very intimate way, But
Playful but intimate. Yeah,
yeah,
playful.
playful. Yeah, very, very playful. So, because there's not so much is described by our acharyas on Sakyaras. Although one friend of mine, he pointed out there is one book where one of the acharyas speaks about it in some detail. Otherwise, mainly our acharyas, Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, even Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, who wrote this book, a lot of their writings are in the mood of conjugal love.
Mm.
But here we're hearing details of Sakyaras,
Mm.
So it's wonderful to hear it, even if we
Lovely.
cannot be on that level.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, so this will be their smaran, this will be their meditation and aspiration. Yeah. All right. Anyone would like to read? You know.
I like to read, but I don't. Is my thing being echoing today?
No, there's no Echo Beach today.
Oh, well, I was so scared of upsetting everybody.
No, I don't know why it comes. Sometimes it's like that,
I,
sometimes it's not.
I
Presently, it's not.
understand it. So, do you want me to read?
Yeah, from
A
50,
little, not too long.
59.
59. Okay. Krishna's friends examined all the preparation, picked out those they found especially tasty, and with their own hands reverentially placed them into his divine mouth.
Right.
And Krishna, bubbling with humor, heartily ate each offering, praised its qualities, and made weary faces. In this way, he made his friends laugh and completely enchanted them. Commentary. To determine which item were most suitable for Krishna to eat, the boys first ate a little of each. Then they presented to Krishna the delicacies they deemed most suitable by offering them with a great flourishing directly into his mouth.
Now that's something we shouldn't imitate. If you're cooking Raj Bhog, you're going to eat it first, and then there's yeah, there was that famous pastime in
That's what I was remembering.
Neela.
Ram Leela.
Sabari.
Sabri,
Sabri.
yeah. So she's in this mood of intimacy, you know. So for her, because she's on that spontaneous platform, then it's not an offense because it's out of love. But for us, you know, practicing, you know, we're practicing sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi, then if we did such a thing, it would be an offense. Yeah. So, let me taste the Rajbog first.
See, I'm now thinking about what we were discussing. So Sabri is at that level that she was just, I mean, how old she was, and she was waiting for Lord Ram to come.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
so long. Her guru went, everybody else went, yet she was patiently waiting.
Yeah.
And she got to that point when she could taste the berries and give it to Lord Ram.
Yeah.
So the love she has at that point.
Yeah.
So understand that she didn't mind how long she was on this material, but she was waiting for her Lord Ram.
Yes. So what mood is she in? What mood has she been developing?
Prema.
Well, prema. And why did Lord Ram appear to her?
Because she was meditating on him.
She was feeling separation from him.
Yeah.
Ripalamba. So she was, for many years, she was doing her
Tapasya.
of desiring and meditating upon. Then the Lord appeared before her and gave her full blessings. Does anyone know her destination? Does the story go on about her? Did she achieve a type of perfection? Did she go to Ayodhya? Anyone know?
No, I don't know.
I'm not so familiar with all the details of Ramayana. But anyway, let's just take this point. Yeah, so we shouldn't imitate this, but here the cowherd boys, you can see they are eating a little bit, say, of the fruit first or whatever it is, and then they're giving it to Krishna because they want to make sure it's tasty and it's not been double salted. This is fruits. Although this is fruits, I think. Yeah.
I remember, I know, after you cooked, offered everything, and then you try, oh no, this one, that's got a little bit too much salt. This one's a little bit too much chili. I'll be careful next time, but.
Yeah, so Wade, unfortunately, it'd be best if we didn't have to, guess we're sadhakas, so we're practicing cooking for Krishna. But ideally, yeah, everything should be, it shouldn't be afterwards that we realize, but what can we do? Yeah. All right, you can carry on. So just picture the scene if you can. It's like a Krishna book, all the concentric circles sitting around Krishna. All the cowherd boys got their lunch bags and lunch packets, and they're all sharing what's in them, and they want Krishna, to eat what's the best thing, and so they're all We're bubbling with humor. Has anyone ever had that experience? You're bubbling over with humor. So this is the cowherd boys. They're laughing heartedly, yeah, at each other, yeah, making wry faces. What is it? You heard that sometimes when Krishna is taking supper in the evening, sometimes I think it's in the evening where everyone's watching very intently Krishna's expression when he eats something. Then he eats these famous Manohara laddus cooked by Radharani, special delicacy. And he puts it in his mouth and he takes a bite and he pulls a really sour face, like it tastes horrible. Everyone goes into great shock, but Krishna's just joking, but they don't see it that at first. So Krishna's really churning their emotions, Yeah. Okay, let's read text 16, 61. Let's continue in this great description of Sakiras.
That most expert enjoyer of all kinds of amusing sports drank a savory tamarind nectar, many
Wow.
other beverages, and buttermilk and Yamuna water, carried in tumbi gourds and other sorts of vessels. And he made the boys drink too. In this way, he delighted all the cowherd boys. Commentary. Among the various vessels from which Krishna drank Yamuna water were cups made of bamboo and of folded leaves.
Yeah, there's no plastic containers from Robert Dias here. There isn't any plastic. And amazing, there's no plastic in the spiritual world.
Only in the material world it was invented.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if anybody went to, I went to Anil Agarwal's party thing.
Yeah.
You enter, they had these bamboo cups, little, very tiny little cups
Okay,
with nuts, mixed nuts in it. They
Oh.
gave as you went through. So the cups were really, really dainty, like bamboo.
yeah, natural bamboo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, really,
Yeah, so here are nice descriptions where we know. Also, and has anyone ever had tamarind nectar? Savory tamarind nectar drink?
I
Sounds
can
intriguing, isn't it?
imagine it would be really nice because tamarind is tamarind chutney.
Amli, is it like the amli?
Yeah.
Imli?
Yeah, tamarind, we know tamarind, but I've never heard of a tamarind nectar drink.
Nectar, no.
Sweet tamarind nectar means it's
Pani puri thing, is it?
Yeah, that's what I think. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
That
that
might
pani
be, yeah,
puri.
honey
color
pudding.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's imli, isn't it?
yeah.
But it's a good also there's lots of recipes or lots of items given in great detail by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. I think he was a good cook from what we can gather. The way he described all the preparations in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which were offered to Krishna or offered to Lord Chaitanya. And in where is it? In some books, there's actually the recipes are given. In the Govinda Lilamrita, there's actual recipes for sweets are given. I mean, I noted it down one time, and I've got it somewhere, and I never got around to trying to make it. But there are, if you're really, really infused about details like this and want to cook for Krishna, you can take note of these descriptions. Oh, in Brhat Bhagavatamrita, they serve the nectar, a tamarind savory nectar drink. So you can, yeah.
Everything would be so nice there anyway.
Yeah, everything's organic, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay, go on. Let's hear some more.
Krishna did Achaman and then chewed fragrant camphor-rich betel nuts that each boy had brought from his home, and also fresh forest betel nuts soaked and wrapped in many leaves of nag creepers. He enjoyed the betel nuts and also gave it out. Commentary. When Krishna finished eating, He washed his hands and mouth and performed the ritual sipping of water. All the boys had brought betel nuts from their homes, and now they offered it all to Krishna, who ate some himself and distributed the rest among them.
Yes. So why do we wash our mouth and hands afterwards? Because that's what they do in the spiritual world.
And it's muchi.
So the etiquette which they do there, then we have in our culture here. Yeah.
But then he is sipping water. He did Achman.
Yeah.
We don't do Achman after eating. We wash hands and
Some do,
mouth.
but it's there in some
Mm.
in Brahminical, yeah, in some directions in Brahminical culture, it's in the Panchatra Pradeep, then because some will do Achman after eating or even before, you know. So here you go. Then it might not be on Keshavayam Narayanam Madhavayam Govinda Nema. Might it just be taking water in the hand
Yeah.
from a cup, you know? Anyway, it's going on in the spiritual world, so in preparation for going there, then we do the same thing, hopefully. Preparation.
Text 63,
Okay, we're going to really hear some details here now. Go on.
His friends made for him various garlands from flowers and leaves. There were flowers and leaves of tulsi, malati, and jati, of malika, kund, jasmine, and
Jaka.
of clove, ketaki, and jinti, of madhuri, and 2 kinds of utika. The garlands had kanchana and karavera and saptapatri, 2 kinds each, and flowers and leaves of palasa and navmali, and odra and damanaka, and others. There were flowers and leaves of kadamba and of nipa and bakula, and naga, punaga, and champa. The garlands had Kutaja and Ashoka and Mandara. They had Karnikara, Asana, Arjuna, Patala, Priyaka, and still other flowers and leaves. Krishna put these garlands on himself and passed them out among his friends. Commentary. The boys made many kinds of flower garlands for Krishna, including the famous Vajayanti Malati and Jati, were subtypes of white night-blossoming jasmines. Nipa and Kadamba are also 2 varieties of one species. The 2 kinds of Utika and the golden Shravana Utika and white Subra Utika.
Words to pronounce here.
The Karavera and Sattapatri both have white and red varieties. Palasa is also known as Kim Sukha. My God. Okay, a little bit more. The second of these verses end with the word
There's a tongue twister.
DB.
Let's get
Flies.
Damana Kadibihi. Danama Kadibi. Damana Kadibi. Yeah.
Which implies that there were other flowers with petals like the damanaka, such as the maruvaka. In the 4th verse of the others indicated at the end of the first line includes the Shringarhara, Sthala Kamala, and Bhumi Champaka. Many flowers that grow in water are not mentioned here because they play more of a part in Krishna's water sports. Nonetheless, the many water flowers used in their forest garlands are also referred to indirectly by the phrase and others. The garlands also included new leaves and flower buds from trees such as kadamba, and on his head, Krishna also wore peacock feathers and berries of gunja. Text 67. He smeared his limbs with a paste of sandalwood, aguro, kumkum, musk, and other fragrant substances brought from the forest. Commentary. Krishna's friends brought these fragrant substances from the Vrindavan forest for his pleasure and made them into a paste by adding water and grinding them on rocks. Krishna smeared this paste on his body and once again shared it with his friends. All enjoyable things are available in Vrindavan forest.
Yeah. So everything's there. Yeah. Everything's there in Vrindavan forest, paste and colours and flowers. There's no flower market needed there. But just I think just good to take note here is that this is the culture of Vaishnavas because it's following the culture in the spiritual world. So for instance, first they've taken food or prasad, yeah. So then what you might do if you're inviting guests or you have specific or you some sadhus and you're serving them prasadam, and I've seen it done, it's not so often, but after then after you give them garlands and you put sandalwood paste on their forehead after they've taken prasadam. You will see that done in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's described. There's a feast happening, and then everyone is given a garland and sandalwood paste. Yeah, sometimes before, sometimes after. I think I mentioned last time that this time in Mayapur, it was really one day was particularly hot, and as we went in to take prasadam, it was sponsored. This new sannyasi had sponsored it based on all the donations he got, and they put sandalwood on our head. It was wonderful. It was so hot in there, even with the fans going, but the cool sandalwood cooled down the whole body. So it's nice. Keep in mind, there might be something if we really want to, follow our culture, then if you're serving devotees prasadam, then afterwards you may offer them garlands and also sandalwood on their forehead, It's very nice, You don't offer them betel. Don't take betel. Krishna does, but sadhakas, then we don't take. We are forbidden to take betel. Okay.
I was thinking about the flowers, so many different types of
Yeah.
flowers.
Yes.
Fragrant flowers, what they are for garlands,
Vaijayanti garland, does anyone could give us details of that? The Vaijayanti garland, this is in Nectar Devotion. It's made of a certain amount of flowers.
The 5 spring forest flowers of Vrindavan.
Yeah, that's it. And it's got Tulsi manjaris in it as well, as far as I remember. It's got Tulsi in it as well. And it hangs down to where? It's a long garland.
All the way to his ankles?
Yeah, all the way to his ankles, or it goes below his knees and down to his ankles. That's the generous type. At least that's the size we generally offer Krishna. Landadashra. Radharani is a lot shorter, but the Vaijayanti garland. There's a description of this Vaijayanti garland in a well-known one particular sloka that describes Krishna entering Vrindavan forest with a peacock feather, and he has a Vaijayanti garland dressed in gold. But yes, what Chandravali is pointing out, the flowers here. Can we imagine how we can try and imagine how beautiful these flowers are?
Forest flowers, beautiful.
What it must be like. I mean, sometimes when I'm dressing Radha Krishna and I open the fridge, I'm looking for suitable flowers, and sometimes you can't find them. Just what, but if here there's no shortage. Vrindavan forest has got so many varieties of colors and flowers and scents, and all of these will be scented. So we're trying our best to serve Krishna, but we have limited resources. But in the spiritual world, there's unlimited resources. The whole spiritual world exists to give service to Krishna. So therefore, the trees are manifesting all their flowers just so they can be part of Krishna's garland, or they can decorate him, can decorate his turban. Yeah, so
one of them is those Parijit flowers, isn't it? Parijit?
Parijat, yeah, you saw that.
Parijat, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. They're so fragrant.
Yeah,
Mm.
Parijat. Also, we have jasmine. Jasmine we know, isn't it?
Yes, jasmine.
What's the flowers?
Champak.
Yeah,
Champak.
yeah, champak.
Yeah.
Yeah, jasmine, champak. Clove. Anyone heard of a clove? I mean, I know cloves. That's the one we use for spice. It
Yeah.
seems like the flower of the clove.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Go to the flower market and say, "Can I have some Kupaka, Jinti, Madhavi, Yuptika, Tantuna, Rivera, and
They
some,
give you a bunch of carnations.
yeah, they give you a bunch of cards." Sorry,
Love to make the headpiece for Radharani with all these flowers, the
Yeah.
dangling.
Oh,
and also
yeah.
I posted something a couple of years ago. I got it from again, I think it's Govinda Lilamrita, and it describes all the different flower decorations that are made for Radha and Krishna. The tape, because the gopis are expert at making different jewelries out of these flowers. So they're in different shapes, and they all got different names. Really
Wow.
beautiful description. Must be about 25 different types of earrings that Radharani wears, which are made of flowers, and they're all in different shapes, and they've got different. It's a great art, which obviously the gopis are expert in.
Mm.
So,
Beautiful. Only one can imagine.
yeah, so this is another reason why we might accept an invitation from Krishna. He says, "You want to go back to the local Vrindavan?" Yep, I'm in.
I mean,
Because there's lots of flowers
anything
there.
to get away from here.
Yeah, there's lots of flowers there that we can make nice garlands and decorate Krishna with.
Yes.
It's like same kind of devotees there, same mentality, all doing things for Krishna.
Yeah. With your particular youth, your particular Shanga,
Yes.
Prema Bhaktis.
Yeah, can you imagine? It would be so nice, all at the same level,
Same level, Prema. All right,
Prema.
I guess
Okay,
we'll pause here. Unfortunately, let's pause, but only pause. We will not stop. We'll
Yes.
continue chanting this wonderful nectar of Brhat Bhagavatamarta. And next week, we'll pick it up from this text here, 68, 69. Okay, thank you, devotees, for joining us. I think there was 8 or 9 devotees with us this evening. I hope this was a very enlivening reading from Brhat Bhagavatamarta. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Praise Murli Manohar Prabhu ki.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Hari Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Oh
Hare
no, I just seen
Ah.
a message in the chat that we've got a new pope and he's an American.
Oh,
Hare Krishna.
Hare
May he be
Krishna.
blessed. May he be blessed. Or may he bless us. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Hare Krishna.